Blog Talk Radio.
How are you doing? This is Jimmy Pax, and you're listening to the incomparable Lena Jones on the Lena Jones Morning Sparkle. Shine on, you crazy diamonds.
Thank you, Jimmy. Good morning. How's everybody doing today? It's Lena. I'm here and I am live. This is not a podcast or a recording that you're listening to. You're actually listening to the sound of my voice. I am here. I am up somewhat. Not completely. I have to tell you, I'm not up completely. I'm in my squeaky chair, so it needs to be oiled. I have to keep still because it makes all these noises, and the noises just don't sound very kosher. I wouldn't want you to think that I was in here gassing up on you, put it that way. Welcome to the show. This is the Lena Jones Morning Sparkle. Welcome any new listeners that's out there. I want to thank you for taking the time and giving me 60 minutes of your day, 60 minutes of your life. I appreciate that. I hope I can entertain you, and I hope you enjoy the music. But let me tell you a little bit about the music. The morning show is a promotion show. I promote music for independent artists. I don't really have a genre, so you will hear a little bit of everything. The only thing that you will not hear is heavy metal and gangster rap or hardcore rap, put it that way. Some of it may sound a little bit hardish, but it's not really hard, and they do have to clean it up before they send it to me. And if you know someone who has some good music, you could have them send it to me. It's real easy to do. Only thing you have to do is send it to music@ljdnshow.com. That's music@ljdnshow.com. And I'll listen to it. And once it's acceptable, I'll play it, I'll promote it, I'll promote you as an artist within the Diamond Network family. I call my artists on this show Diamond Delights. Speaking of Diamond Delights, I hope you guys got a chance to vote. I hope you went out and did your voting for your winner. It's only 2 more weeks to go. It just feels like it's taking forever. And normally, time just flies with everything. But for some reason, for this particular thing, it's just like creeping by and creeping by. But hey, it's almost here. This is the 4th year anniversary of my show. I've been here for 4 years. Can't believe it myself, but I'm still here. So I'm celebrating this month with trying to talk a little bit about what's been going on, how I got here, why am I still here? But I'm still here to have a voice. Basically, that's pretty much it. Yesterday I was listening to, last night on the show, if you listened, I had an interview with Lard, and I hit a button and it went off. And I'm so sorry for that. I'm so sorry for that. This is still a Murphy's Law studio. But what's interesting in the interview, he did say that I did say he was one of my third people. And I said earlier in the show, I think it was Cosmic. So there's an era. I know it was about 3 or 4 of them that started with me good. He was one. He's now in retirement. He's doing more community services. He's gotten more into the gospel. Praise God for that. He's now spreading definitely positive thoughts and words. And if you are hooked up with me on Facebook, you'll see some of his posts where he does things in the community to help out. As usual on the morning show, we have a morning prayer. We have a morning prayer before we get into our music. And the prayer usually has something to do with our lives, which all prayer should. It shouldn't be a prayer to without having something to do with your life. So today, I got to tell you though, it was hard for me to get up this morning. I've been on vacation last weekend. I didn't have to get up very early, but I had to do it this morning, and it was kind of kicking me there. So I got to get back into my, and I got to get my mojo going. Okay, this prayer is saying nothing is too hard for God. I mean, there are things that you might be going through in your life right now that you just feel that you're all alone and it's impossible. But never feel that you're all alone because God is always there. Jesus is always with you. And that's what I have with me those times when I feel that I'm all alone. There's no one around to help and there's no one around to listen. I do know that He's there. He's there right there by my side. So I'm never really alone. It's just a matter of getting adjusted to the fact that you have a Holy Spirit there that's there to guide you. And you may not see it, and we're so used to having tangible things in our lives, things that we can see and feel and touch, and we tend not to believe if they're not there. But I tell you, if you put your trust in Him and you're patient with everything else, like everything else you should be, watch and see. He always comes through. He always comes through. There's a saying that He may not be there when you need Him, but He's always right on time. And I truly believe that from the bottom of my heart. So this prayer is to let you know that there's nothing too hard for God. Nothing. When you look at the world and the creation, even down to the smallest pebble, if He can make that, if He can do that, don't you think He can move a mountain? And I don't mean a physical mountain. I mean a mountain in your life. And on that note, I want to tell you, but before I do that, I want to tell you one thing that He really proved Himself to me. I had this tree, and in my backyard, it was my neighbor's tree. It hung all the way over to my backyard, big, huge tree, and it would bring in spiders and everything down. It was just horrible. I mean, it gave good shade, but it was just too much over on my side. And when we had bought the house, that tree was already there. So, and the tree was massive. So one day I was looking at this tree, and I was saying, Lord, you can move all mountains, and this is a true story. I said, would you remove that branch from that tree? And this one, I'm not talking about a little branch. This was a huge branch. And I walked over to the fence, and I said, if you could just cut it right. And I took my finger down the line. I was not near the tree, but from my own yard. And I just put my fingers down the line and said, you could just slice it right there. And that was several years ago. Okay, a few years back, we had this really, really bad storm, really, really bad thunder and lightning storm. And we were in the house, and after the storm was over, a lot of stuff was damaged. I looked out my backyard, and a piece of this tree is laying across my fence. I'm like, what? And it just happens to be the same piece that I wanted removed. I kid you not. So I come out my house. I said, I have to see where this tree split at. I had to see it. So I came out my house, and I looked over at the tree, and the line that I drew with my finger, I kid you not, was the same line that split that tree. They took the branch right off that tree. I mean, it was, and I felt so comforted. I felt so comforted to know that I have a God that would listen, because to me that tree was a mountain, because it was huge, it was big, and it would just be very expensive to get this done. I had permission from my neighbors if I needed to remove it, but I couldn't afford it. You know who did it for me? God. He did it for me. He sliced it right where I wanted to slice that. So I thought that was an amazing story. That was truly a blessing, and I love it. I love Him. So on that note, I'm not going to hold up any more yakking. as my husband would say. We're going to go ahead and read this prayer. This prayer is nothing is too hard for God, and is coming from Jeremiah 32:27. It says, I am the Lord, the God of all mankind. Is anything too hard for me? I don't think so. Lord, I want things to be different in my life, but there are so many obstacles. I need energy and motivation to get going. I need finances and more time. More than anything, I need to trust you more. Nothing is too difficult for you, Father. You can do anything, despite all my needs and distractions. Please bring into my life favor and openings. Please make a way. I ask that you help me achieve the goals in my life that are best suited for your good and purposes. In Jesus' name, amen. That is my short prayer for this morning, and I hope you enjoy, and I hope it works for you. I hope my little story gave you some confidence about faith and having faith, and knowing it is a good thing. It's a good thing to know that you have someone in your corner, whether you can see him or not, he's there. And just to be here and just to be talking to you and have you listening to me is a blessing. And I hope the rest of your day and week is blessed. Now, on that note, here's Ron Anthony. And I trust you.
I'll trust you. There was a story about a man who lost his child. He cherished that young one to the day he took his last breath. He was so special, you see, he had to fight all his days and nights. But Daddy loved him anyway. His disease was only a phase, but something was bigger than the tears he cried. And only a father could hear the words that were unspoken. Fast forward. Even though he's in a better place, the thought still makes him cry all day. That's when he looks up in the sky and says, oh God, I will trust you. This may be the hardest thing for me to do, but I will. I will trust you. I know it's only a test, but I want you to know I'll trust you. I'll trust you. He thought it was all over. He thought the pain would come no more. Just when he thought that it was time to move on, the stress kept piling on and on. What can you do when your heart won't let you live? So I said, doctor, can you fix me? This is taking a toll. I'm in need of your experience to make me whole again, to put me back together. And while you're working on me, I will put my trust in the only one that knows what's better for me. And I'll start by saying, Lord, I still trust you. This may be the hardest thing for me to do, but I will. I still trust you. I know it's only a test, but I want you to know I'll trust you. Just like Job, he came out on top of the world. God gave him to everything he ever lost. That was his reward for his faithfulness. God is not a man that he will lie. Look at how far